All right, we'll call to order the meeting of the planning board for Tuesday, May 13th. Is there anybody here from the public to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? All right. Can we actually get everybody to sign in too if you haven't already?
Oh, sure.
First up are the minutes from April 8th. Everybody get a chance to look at those?
Yep.
Any errors, omissions, alterations?
That is an error.
Where?
The last sentence, I believe, I looked at it correctly.
You read all the way to the end, Harry?
Yes.
What's the error?
Where it said we had a 5-0 vote, and we only had 4 people here.
Good catch.
See that? I'm paying attention.
Nice work. Anything else?
Read the whole thing.
Can I get a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes with the change mentioned by Harry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 1 abstention. All right, moving on to A&Rs, 162 to 166 Line Street.
I'm not sure if anybody is here to speak for that side because I can just choose the right set of plans here. Okay. So this applicant lives on Line Street. Both of these lots are pre-existing non-conforming lots. They don't meet the minimum lot size requirements for the R40 zone, so they're grandfathered lots. They're not changing the frontage in any way, shape, or form, and they're not changing the square footage of either one of the lots, so they're not making either one of them any more non-conforming than they already are. What they're basically doing is there's a fence that comes off of this house that they want to make sure that it's on their property line, so rather than take down the fence, I think it was too much of a pain to take down the fence, so they just wanted to reconfigure the lines on the sides. So this line is coming out to include the fence, and then this person's getting this bump out here. So it's just reconfiguring those. But everything it's still staying as non-conforming as it currently is.
That's good.
I motion to approve the A&R.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Who's second? Sorry.
I just
Chat. Is this the one? Is there one specific one I'm supposed to sign? Yes.
There should be a Mylar at the bottom, looks like.
Oh, second.
Second above them.
sign it.
What's the date to the 13th?
Yeah.
All right. You want these?
You need, yes, well, you need to sign at least one hard copy
Okay.
for city clerk. That goes to the clerk, and then usually you should sign one for the applicant themselves. If they're not here, they may come back and pick it up.
All right.
And then the rest will just be destroyed.
All right. Next up, 246 to 248 East Street. Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, you can come right up.
Okay, this is for Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity. The city has sold us a piece of property on East Street for, I think it was $1. And the original property line is encompassing this perimeter. We plan on putting up 2 dwelling units on the property with a 0 lot line structure. So it's one structure with a firewall separating the 2 units. And this is the new property line. And it's about 20,000 square feet for each piece.
I want to note just that they've already gotten their comprehensive permit for the ZBA, and so they already are approved for a reduction in the dimensional standards for that zone.
Yeah. So the conditions of the comprehensive permit, the frontage for one piece is it's actually 71 feet with a total linear footage there, and 49 feet frontage. So each piece of new property has its frontage on East Street, and there is a common easement in the middle here, this dotted line, with a driveway leading up to the building and the parking spaces. So each unit has access, vehicular access to East Street.
Via the,
So here's where the common.
via the easement, they have both.
Right.
Yeah.
They're both going to use it anyway.
So, Jess, the comprehensive permit allows for the reduced frontage, is that?
Yep.
Okay.
So I have a copy of the permit if you feel like you need to see it, but they,
Take
there
a
are
look.
zoning waivers that were requested and received, was that the change in the lot frontage from what they just spoke to. And they received permission from the ZBA to split the parcel and to have that zero lot line. So those are both granted through the zoning waivers of the comprehensive permit.
Sounds good.
A motion to approve the A and R.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Aye.
I have to admit, I feel weird motioning to approve something where approval is not required.
We've talked about not doing it that way, but.
It's actually, it's motion to endorse.
Endorse.
Is the
Forgive my
actual,
knowledge.
is the actual technical.
You're right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Good luck.
yes, I need a couple copies for.
I signed 3, is that enough, Jess?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine. So you have a Mylar and an original for your own files, and then I'll keep the rest. Is that okay?
Okay, and then you can take this to the.
You take that to the registry of deeds and file it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. No old business, so move on to the site plan approval for Shark Tank Tattoo.
Come on up.
I apologize for the unorthodox looking site plan.
It's glossy covers, I mean.
Yeah, you know, it's very glossy, it's shiny.
Book reporter.
Yeah, exactly. I was speaking to
Here, have a seat. Get yourself comfortable.
Yeah,
You don't bite. Really.
most of us anyway.
Yep. So it's a site plan light is what I was told by Jamie. That didn't need to be it's I'm not expanding square footage or anything
Yep.
like that. So hopefully I gave you guys the right information.
Yeah, looks good. You want to just explain to us generally sort of what the plan is?
I'm the owner, single tattooer for now, and it'll pretty much just be me and maybe a phone helper. I know the biggest thing is impact on parking and neighbors and such. My operating hours are between 12 and 8. Don't have any live music. I don't have any plans anywhere in the near future or future in general to have live music. And pretty much how I operate is it's pretty quiet. It's me, working on a client. That's usually who's in the shop, maybe a person coming in to make an appointment, but it's pretty low impact. So there's a bigger shop that have 10, 12 people where you have all of their clients and it's people and stuff like that. But it's small space, not really hang around, just me working on my clients.
I saw that trash and waste, one of the things that we're to consider was really well documented in here.
Okay, great.
Initially I had questions, but
Yeah.
this answered them all.
So I work right now, and I've worked in Vermont, I've worked in New Hampshire over the last 10 years, and they have a very big push on not having waste go into sinks, even though they go to the same place that toilet waste goes, and someone could have a communicable disease. So really, but the thing is, they don't want backflow issues if someone else has plumbing that doesn't necessarily work right for them to run the risk of getting, So I use a product that's similar to a diaper, where you pour it into your liquid, your rinse cup. You wait a minute or two while you're cashing out the client or whatnot, and then it's solid, so it can be put into a trash can. So yeah, it's pretty low impact. Sharps are the biggest thing, and that's something where we have a mail-in system where you can't find an incinerator, you can't operate an incinerator service, or as a small business.
Yeah.
So usually you have a place that you pay that does that. So yeah.
And it looks like it's pretty minor changes to the interior.
Yep, minor. And I have possibly a change of bathroom door depending on what my contractor says. I did stop doing. I have them lined up and ready to go, but it's pretty much just that and a partition wall. So, being that I talked to Jackie, I'm going to go to completely disposable tubes, which is usually the issues you need to have. If you have an autoclave and you have an area where you're sterilizing your equipment, you can't have access to that area. That's not just you, it's an employee-only area. But seeing that I can go completely disposable, that actually makes it a little easier too. So, the partition wall mainly being something that's in the statutes or in the laws. So that way, if you're working on someone or it's a private tattoo, which some are, some aren't, you're not completely exposed to the glass, for people in the street. So you have a waiting area, an area for privacy for your clients. So moving the wall up is just so that the bathroom is in the privacy area as well. So people, if they want to stop and go look at a tattoo or use the bathroom, when they're, say, in a situation where they have, their shirt up a little bit, they don't have to worry about walking back out through the lobby. You know what I mean? So it's just that's the biggest change. Not a full to the ceiling partition either. That's the biggest thing. My father does construction and pipe fitting, so just more of a block.
And I know you've got the parking lot in the back that I think you said maybe for employees, but also for deliveries. Do you expect having sort of loading, unloading, anything like that?
No, deliveries are usually really small. I mean, usually if you do a run of okay, I need all of these things, tattoo equipment, etc., you end up with a couple boxes that either the UPS or
just come in the front door or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, what I've been noticing with just myself there, because I've just started painting and looking around the place, is that we can fit. Usually, I have enough spots in the back of the building for me and an extra client. So obviously there'll be people coming and going, but the main people that I tattoo or work on, I can let them know you can park back here while you're being worked on, so it's almost no impact that way. I can't guarantee what people are going to come and go, but usually what we talk about doing is letting my client know where they parked to move around to the back of the building for their for their session. So.
What does clean and rustic mean? I was very curious.
Tattooing is we run into a lot of people looking at you and saying, so it's almost like the old apothecary. I hand paint traditional signs and things like that. So it's very similar to like when you would see like a 1950s drugstore, gold leaf, you know what I mean, for the window painting. I do a lot of window painting rather than just traditional or like that newer vinyl. I'd rather have it hand painted and it looks more rustic. All the colors are earth tones. Everything's very, it's not the flashy color bomb 90s spray paint graffiti type, tattoo movement. So. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? I think most of the issues under the site plan don't apply here as far as vegetation, landscaping, things like that. But
all A through J.
Yeah.
Covered. I'm good.
Sweet.
So you don't foresee, once your business is going, you don't foresee anyone waiting to be next or anything else? Or is that by appointment?
I'm by appointment. I sometimes take walk-ins, but usually what happens is you have a gap, and even where I've worked now, you have a gap of time period about half an hour maybe. The person will show up early, be excited to get tattooed, and you might be running a little behind. So that's usually where you see the overlap. Usually when people are done getting tattooed, they're tired, hungry, and want to get out. So, yeah, you know what I mean?
I notice how you have all this set up for you.
Yeah, just enough to make sure.
Like a comfort lounge.
Yeah, you want people to feel comfortable, that's the biggest thing. So, and then, like I said, walk through traffic, you never can guarantee that, so I always want to make sure there's room for people to...
So if anyone wants to walk in, you would probably just set up an appointment and say...
Yeah. Unless right then you were sitting there and you had
nothing, right.
Yeah, so I've worked the last 10 years 2 months, 3 months out. So it's usually like what's coming in. You know what I mean? Give or take the people coming in to talk to you or drop off artwork and things like that. So
it must, I would imagine, it must determine on the side of the tattoo also.
It does. I have a lot of people I do a lot of traditional Japanese, Asian it's really early 1940s stuff. So it's bodysuits and what they used to consider Yakuza stuff, but it's
we were discussing that.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. So
some guy walks in, he wants to hold back, done with some kind of
And that's just based on time, because it's all like,
Yeah.
how much does this cost, or how long is this going to take? It's like, as long as
Yeah.
10 feet tall or 2 feet tall, it's
Yeah,
going to be.
must take quite a while for
Yeah.
somebody, yeah.
You can have someone who's little and it takes them. So.
When you have a big tattoo, let's say, and it's going to take like a couple of days, or say 2 or 3 different procedures, and it's depends on what it is. I mean, how do you know where do you stop in there so you can pick up
usually
on the
line
following
it,
day?
and then it's a healing process. You're always healing between, so you kind of. And there have been people who haven't made it through.
So when you get all the way, say to a point, then you got like a stop point.
Yeah.
Where you look at a picture, then so you can pick up on that, say the following day.
Everything I draw, usually you can, and there's a lot of gapping. You'll do sections and then have to connect it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drawing right on. So.
Not the following day, though.
No, well, I've had some very dedicated clients at conventions when I travel who will get tattooed 3 days in a row, because 3 days is usually when your body starts to have that your lymph fluids start to build up and start to scab and turn into a non-tattooable area. But there are people who I couldn't do it, who are in there like, I drove here 6 hours, I'm getting this whole thing done, and I don't know how they do it. Crazy.
All right, so just for the record, Fire Department and the Conservation Commission had no comments. Health Agent had comments, but they weren't planning related. So,
I don't believe they're planning related. They're dealing with interior.
yeah, it looked like.
Right.
Sealing the brick wall.
I don't know if you, I'm not sure if you.
The brick is sealed. I know Jackie had mentioned that. for
Yeah,
some
so
material,
her
so-
comment, oh, what did I just do with it?
I don't
You
think
have
it
it right there?
influenced our decision,
No, I got
but
it.
it's good to hear you say you're going to deal with,
So her
Yes,
comment
sir.
was, we've
spoke
we've
earlier.
reviewed the application and working with the owner on tattoo regulation compliance. It may be necessary for owner to seal any exposed brick walls so they are
Right.
washable. Otherwise, I have no concerns about the application as presented. So I
Yeah,
followed
sure.
up with her and asked her, was that in relation to possible body fluids being sprayed on a wall for whatever reason? And she said yes. So,
In an artery.
That makes sense.
I don't
I
know.
had one person come to me,
So,
and these aren't my feelings, and mention that because there's it's not a school, it's like a preschool very close nearby, they were concerned about the signage, but I sort of
Yeah.
implied, and you, Rustic, clean is also.
And I was told by Jamie to put the signage in there, and I didn't have a chance to put it together properly enough for Joe to look at it. So I figured, even if he tells me just to use the lettering that they use for the Hampshire Gazette, I'd be happy with that. Wouldn't be ideal, but the sign's a sign. So
Yeah.
whatever makes the town happy.
I motion to approve the site plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right.
Thank you guys very much.
so
So,
next steps. So just so the applicant's clear what
Yes,
happens next.
yes.
So,
I can now do
well,
permits.
nothing.
No,
Wait, yeah, so this is a site plan it's a site plan review application, which means that there's no appeal period, but the board has 14 days to draft a decision. So at a minimum, you have a 14-day waiting period. I will try my best to expedite the process for the decision. And then once it's signed, I have your email, so I'll email you a copy. I'll also drop a copy in the mail for you. And then once you have that, then you can go to Joe and you can deal with all your building permits.
Would I be upsetting? I can probably talk to Jackie. I can set up she's really busy, so I can probably set up a tentative appointment.
I think you should set up appointments with
Okay.
Jackie to get at least that parallel track going, because you
And I'll
don't want to
know-
get lagged behind.
Yes,
So
exactly.
you now have this permit, work with the Board of Health
Okay.
and whatever she needs, and
Okay.
she will work with you as far as she can based on
Okay.
where you're at in terms of your build out.
Okay. And I'm
So-
using local contractors and plumbers,
Yep.
so it's,
Yep.
Joe knows them already. So.
Yep, she's great,
Yeah,
so,
she's
but
nice.
I would, don't wait.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Go with Jackie and start setting up appointments with her to get that, and you should have something probably within a week, I would say, hopefully.
Well, take it down. Make it work. Yeah. It's a small town with a lot of things to do. So.
All right.
Welcome.
Good luck.
All right,
Thank you
luck.
guys.
Take care.
You as well, guys. You as well.
Stop in and see you.
All right.
If people are running out screaming, you know where to find them.
I don't think they'll be doing that.
With the last item on the agenda is we have a request relative to a ZBA application for chickens, it looks like. Although it says it will be heard at the
That
May
was heard
hearing, so
that was heard last night.
That's even
or last week.
more relevant than
Is it Taft?
Taft Ave, yeah.
Yep.
So they no longer need our opinion because
No longer need the opinion, it's already been heard.
we were
Okay,
we were gonna
bye.
give them money.
So, cross that
It was
off.
kind of contentious, so
Was it?
hopefully, yeah,
It's just as well.
yeah.
All right. Any administrative items?
Nope.
I do want to add one thing. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
That's all right.
I will be brief.
That's right.
The master plan has been moving at a really great pace lately. We've been working on the open space, and we've had people from the community. Tom, I can't quite pronounce his last name. Because
Watson has it.
Thank you. Bill Cannon. We even had Harry at one of them. I'd love to have you again, sir. We meet again this Thursday, and we're doing the last piece. We've gone through the entire open space in the master plan, and we'll be reviewing the open space document next to see if there's anything that needs to be in here to be included in. And the only thing I wanted to mention, the reason I'm bringing it up is because, Jessica, we're finding a lot of things that were in here that are things that we want to just formally bring to your attention. I'm not going to do it now, but I'm giving you a heads up that it's coming. And I'm sure
just make a list.
we're going to do that as part of our process.
Sure.
But there were a lot of issues in here that are things that we just want to make sure, and maybe even as part of our process, we remind you annually. As annoying.
That's your point. That's your job.
Yeah, as annoying as that may be.
No, it's not. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
That's your job, is to
Yeah.
go through this and to remind people that these things were said we were going to do and we need to do them.
That's
So,
coming.
Yep, okay.
That's all I have to say. Thank
All
you.
right, great.
And I would make a suggestion, Jim, though, back that you might want to consider drafting that not just to me, but also to the Conservation Commission. If there's things that were within their jurisdiction, there should be a separate memo to the Conservation Commission based on that, okay?
Yeah, I'll bring that to the board on Thursday. Thank you.
Harry, another update?
I want to give it a CPA update.
Oh, boy.
It's not like Saturday Night Live, it's, we'll be voting Thursday night on a football field, which involves a lot of money. There's like 300 grand involved in this thing, okay? And it's been going back and forth now for probably close to a year with the presentation and then, who's going to take responsibility and those other kind of thing. It's been pretty well hammered out now. And also, we're going to be probably handing out some cash to the public gardens up on Park Street. The guy wants to put in some kind of a fountain thing up there, so we're going to give him like, I guess $1,200, whatever it is, to hook up water to irrigate the little plots that are up there. And plus, Cliffview Manor is looking for something like 17 grand for a recreational room for the elderly on Clinton Soda. And it involves a walkway and an electric door. So it's going to be nice up there. People will be able to go in and watch TV or whatever.
Sounds good.
Great.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd give you an update on that.
Awesome.
Thank you. Anything else?
I motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Sorry, one
withdraw my
thing.
motion.
Anybody who traveled to CPTC and is expecting to be reimbursed, I need those reimbursements ASAP before the end of the fiscal year. So that would be June 30th, so you've got a little over a month. But if we have a purchase order that we set aside for travel.
How many 3 traveled, and I received an email from
Did Jamie get in
saying
touch?
2, and so I assumed I wasn't one of them.
Did you travel?
I did, but
Yeah, but
but you did too, right?
I don't. I have my own account. I have a planning department account. This is from
Okay.
the planning board's travel.
I'm glad you
account.
mentioned it. I assumed I was a part of it.
I travel, but I want to put it on. I want to give it to him in grace.
Wow.
What do I need to get you?
We'll talk after. Yeah.
I'm going
All
to
right.
give him my
I
donation.
re-motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
All right.
Button.
Well done, team.
Button.
I recommend that we